And we're live. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of This Week in Real Estate, hosted by yours truly. My name is Ray, and this is This Week in Real Estate. I'm a bearded man of real estate. Thank you so much for joining me this week. It's going to be a little bit different than how we normally do this. I am broadcasting as a premiere everywhere where it can be premiered. Other places it's going to be released as a video. But this is a pre-recorded video, recorded late on Tuesday night, November 25th, 2025. And we've got a little bit of behind the scenes action for you today. So even if you are watching this live on YouTube, you can comment and other people can join you in the comments. I believe the chat's still active. I just can't pull it up. But we're going to be going through all the latest news, and I am going to give you all a behind the scenes peek at how I pull off the show as a one-man producer, one-man show. Maybe then some of you will understand why there's some audio difficulties, speaking of which, making sure I'm broadcasting live on audio. I'm going to make sure my camera output is correct still, because sometimes you'll hit go. It'll mess it all up. So this is normally the part of the show where I tell everybody, this is episode 341 of This Week in Real Estate, when it was broadcast, especially for all the podcast folks. So thank you everyone for listening. Thanks for checking out the behind the scenes look. And I promise you, for the audio listeners, don't just stop listening because it's behind the scenes. I'm going to show you stuff. I'm going to be going through all of the most recent news and headlines for the week up until this evening. So it still should be, it'll be everything except the articles that I normally add to the show on Wednesday morning early. So really, you're not really missing that much. I could probably pull off the show every Tuesday night, but then the number of people listening would be less. Okay. I also have to confess, the way I do this very quickly, there's something on the lens. Got it. The way I do this very quickly is I normally listen to like techno or something. So I'm going to put some tunes on just so you all can see the full workflow in all of its glory. So it'll be a little bit louder than I normally put background music. But yeah, I gotta have something. I gotta have something, James, especially since I don't have you good people in the comments like talking. I'm gonna have to have something in the background here. Okay. First things first, confession. I am not seeing the articles that I'm going to show you today for the first time. I collect articles throughout the week, and then it makes it a lot easier for me to go through and compile all those articles for the show. So I've already got one that I know I'm going to look up. Let me share my screen. I'll show you two things. Let's start in order. Before I start to look up articles, I actually just recreate my spreadsheet. I got a spreadsheet. That's pretty official, you know? How many podcasts and shows are out there with no spreadsheet? Probably a lot. So this spreadsheet is currently a direct copy from the spreadsheet I had for last week. Whoa, that's going to be difficult to read, so I will zoom in. There we go. So at the top, I just have a placeholder for a show title. It's, ASDF. The description, I'm going to put that in later too. And then here's a little intro. I used to read this word for word. I don't so much anymore. For those of you who remember when I switched over, when Dan left, and I switched over for just me, I put this little intro together not long after, just to kind of remember, because we used to have the much maligned banter, which is still called that at the beginning of the show, kind of in honor of Dan. But this is just to kind of keep me remembering to say things like, oh yeah, if you're on Clubhouse, you can join the show by raising your hand. They're going to check, see if you have a bio. If you do, that's not all that's in here, but it's just like little bullet points I see to remind me of that stuff. Okay, so this is episode 342. I'm going to change that. This is November. It would have been on 26th. It's technically so late on Tuesday that it is 26, so we're just going to put 26. And then this is where I would repeat that show title. Obviously, we don't have a show title yet. I mean, we do. It's BTS this week, so we'll just put BTS. But this is where we'd put the big show title. BTS, behind the scenes, for those of you who are wondering. All right, now this is everything that I covered last week. The reason why it's important for me to have this on here is so I don't cover something again, but it also kind of gives me a clue to know like, these are some of the things that we talked about, right? So we had Glenda's take on Instagram. Last week, we had that, what's his name? I forget his name. Hang on, let me find him. We had the other guy who was talking about Zillow stuff, and he was like, should I get Glenda on my show? Okay. Yeah. Here it is. Someone sent me something from him this week as well. Jared James. In my head, I was thinking Jason James, but I knew that wasn't correct. Okay. So I have a Facebook post from Jared James that's kind of in this news cycle about Zillow. So I'm definitely going to be adding that. Then when I go down, this is all the economic news we covered. So the other thing about having this description up here at the top is it tells me like, last week was November 19th. That's really helpful because I'll look at article dates to make sure I'm not recovering something. So November 20 and on, we can add to the show this week. All right, so I'm gonna take a quick glance at this. We'll just highlight and delete. Deleted. For those of you who are Homestar Runner fans. You may not have been able to see all that. It's okay. So this is just a spreadsheet. You saw how it is. We're going to put a title. We're going to put a link. And then if we have a second article covering the same thing, I'm going to put it on alternate source. And then if I decide to chop it out as an individual like video for some reason, that's where I put the story description, chop, tags, and SEO. All right. Let's start talking about the news. Enough of this. So first I'm going to go to some of the stuff that people have sent me. So far, the main thing I was sent was this piece. I'll share this tab instead. There we are, and go here. Wait, I'm going to nix the screen share so that you guys can hear the video. I have to also share audio here. Okay. Be back at it. Share. Okay, this is the video that Andy Rose sent me this week.
Serious and a lot bigger, and I don't think it's done. It just expanded out to 8 different states, and now what you have is you have 10 secret witnesses who actually say that they have proof that there is fraudulent business practices going on, that there's a coordinated effort to actually inflate the real estate commissions that are being paid, and a coordinated effort to actually steer buyers over to Zillow Flex Home Loans, and they're saying that they have proof about this, and this is getting real now. Let's get into some of the major points that they're actually making in this suit, this expanded suit right here, which now takes over the old one. One is that Zillow uses Follow Up Boss to monitor calls and messages and eavesdrop on client communications and catch agents who recommend outside lenders. Catch them. Number 2 is Zillow managers allegedly travel to offices to personally deliver instructions they could not put in writing about quotas. I've got messages all over in my DMs about that kind of thing. Number 3, Flex agents who fail to meet quotas for referring buyers to Zillow Home Loans face losing leads or getting kicked out of the program. I don't even know how you defend that. That's obviously happening. Yeah. And number 4, Zillow Home Loans cherry picks high qualified buyers, offers higher interest rates than competitors, and provides inaccurate closing disclosure. So I like the fact that many agents right now are actually going on the offensive and being a part of the class action lawsuit rather than sitting back, because I think a lot of them are exposed. I think a lot of them are going to be held liable. I said this on a recent episode of my podcast today with Jared James. I think a lot of them are going to be held liable for moving along with it and steering people towards Zillow Home Loans, no matter how much pressure they felt to do that. So I like the fact that they're going on the offensive. I like the fact that they're not just sitting ducks. What do you guys think? This is going to get interesting. What do you guys think? Okay, guys, things just...
Yeah, so that's a good video. I'd probably play mostly the whole thing on the show. I am definitely, so one of the things I did while I was watching that, which I would also normally do, is I Google Zillow Flex and RICO. And then boom, I have this news article from Inman. I am a paying member of Inman, so I'm not sure what's behind a paywall and what's not here. September class action complaint against Zillow now includes racketeering allegations, according to court documents obtained by Inman. Is it easier to go after the RICO, or is it easier to go after RESPA? The initial filing, which centered on Washington homebuyer Alucard Taylor, said Zillow's Flex referral program violated the Washington Consumer Protection Act and the Real Estate Settlement Procedures Act, RESPA. The filing said Zillow isn't forthcoming about the referral process, which includes connecting buyers with Flex agents who pay 40% referral fee. The complaint argues that a 40% fee trickles down to consumers through inflated commissions. However, the amended complaint on Wednesday after my show, isn't that always how it happens? Expands the scope of the complaint, adding 8 different plaintiffs from Washington, California, Michigan, North Carolina, Virginia, Georgia, Nevada, Florida, Connecticut, and 4 new defendants, including Zillow Home Loans and 3 brokerages enrolled in Flex. The most significant additions to the complaint are the expansions of Zillow's alleged RESPA violations to the addition of racketeer influence and corruption, RICO. Interesting. Many Zillow Flex agents. Oh, the other thing I do is I'm reading these articles. A lot of times the information is kind of the same that what Jared James said, but these quotes are also different. So I like to look at the quotes and where people got the quotes, point those out on the show. You'll hear me read quotes a lot. Many Zillow Flex agents know virtually nothing about the real estate process or the neighborhoods in which they're showing homes. Yet these same agents are falsely promoted as a top agent on Zillow based solely on their participation in the Zillow Flex program. The filing read, Zillow's requirement that Flex agents use Zillow's follow-up boss allows Zillow to eavesdrop on communications. Man, they are walking right into that right now. Wow, between the agent and buyer violating the agent's duty of confidentiality. Wow, the agent's duty of confidentiality. That's a good take. Zillow also used the follow-up boss to catch Flex agents who may recommend other loan providers to their clients to censor them appropriately. Really? Where's that? That's a hefty allegation. And if that's true, that's big time bad. If that's true, that's really big time bad. The RICO count, the filing said, is to account for brokerage. Oh, you know what? As I'm reading this, I'm thinking, Zillow uses follow-up boss to catch Flex agents who may recommend other loan providers. Is it because they're catching their actual recommendation? Like they're catching them say, hey, you should use Sally over at First Trust USA Local Bank? Or is it that agent is not making enough referrals to Zillow, so they must be referring to someone else? Like, which is it? Okay. The RICO count, the filing said, is to account for the brokerage's participation in Zillow's alleged scheme to inflate consumer cost. Whoa. Brokerages. So I know a lot of teams use it. I guess there are also some brokerages that use it directly. Locally, there's a brokerage that relies on Zillow a lot. It really makes you start. I'm having too many thoughts. See, normally, behind the scenes moment. Normally, I have these thoughts in private. I can sort all this out. But here we are. Zillow's scheme hinges on the cooperation from the Zillow Flex cooperation from the Zillow Flex agents and their collective ability to work together to fraudulently induce prospective buyers into using Zillow Flex agents. By working together as part of an enterprise and using the mail in furtherance of their fraudulent scheme, Zillow, along with 3 real estate agencies and other unnamed co-conspirators who acted as brokers for 3 plaintiffs' sales, violated the Racketeer Influence and Corruptions Act. That's pretty wild. The complaint, which ballooned from 29 to 73 pages, also includes screenshots and transcripts of alleged conversations between Zillow representatives and Flex agents regarding their Zillow Home Loans referral quotas. It also now includes testimonies from anonymous loan officers who claim Zillow cherry-picks home buyers with the best credit profiles and fails to educate buyers about the full range of loan and down payment assistance options, which they said effectively steers buyers to higher cost loans and disqualifies them altogether from purchasing. Okay. So obviously this is a good article to read. There's the actual filing. I love it when I can get my hands on the actual filing to look through. Sometimes I will read through the full filing. I will also sometimes take the filing to AI and ask it, hey, give me the biggest points in this filing. It's okay. It's basically similar to what the article says. Which makes me think maybe the person writing the article is doing that. It's just basically a rundown of what the article said in most cases. I like the graphics. Zillow Home Loans gives bad loans to consumers, forces that consumer then to use Zillow, refers the lead to a real estate agent who steers the customer back to Zillow Home Loans if that person's like, I don't know about this loan. Then that agent also pays Zillow 40% commission. I feel like these arrows are going the wrong direction, man. Like Zillow should be giving the agent way more, especially if they're steering to Zillow Home Loans. I mean, that feels like a proper kickback. I think this is an improper kickback. Hey, we're going to force feed you this lead, force you to give it back to us on our home loans, and then we're going to ask you to force you to pay us 40% on the commission. That's crazy. Anyway, let's see if there's any other pictures or anything in the filing. I would probably show this filing because of that image. So let me go back up to it if I can find it again quickly. There it is. I really like that. So I'd probably have a tab open with just this image because that kind of took a while to find. You can pop out. Look at that. I can just pop it right out. But then it starts at the top. I'm not going to do that to you guys. But that's what I do. I'll pop it out, find this image, probably find the other one that showed the button, this one. And sometimes I would open both those tabs. Sometimes I would just know, okay, you got to scroll 1, 2, 3, just 3 scrolls down and I'm here. Consumers going to Zillow, Zillow referring the lead to a real estate agent steering customers to Zillow Home Loans, Zillow Home Loans giving a bad load to the consumer, and then the real estate agent giving 40% commission to Flex. Yeah. Fun times. Okay. I'm going to turn down the music a little bit. This is not the best song. Let's find a different song. Let's do this one. Yeah. Okay. So these are the 2 biggest articles we have so far. I'm going to put several sources in this one. It's not for those of you who are OCD. We're going to immediately break out of our spreadsheet. But these by far are the biggest two. And so during a real show, we would actually have a ton to talk about here. And I try to time the show around an hour, but we would probably have a 30-minute conversation. From the time the show starts, we would probably have half the conversation about this. So I'm going to go back to the article. We will drop the title in there. I used to do custom titles and stuff like that, but I don't really do that anymore. It's just a waste of time. Let me get back. Okay. I've got that. Also have this thing called Paperclip, which is really handy. Sometimes I'll copy and paste several things at one time. Like I can copy and paste the Inman News article link, and I can copy paste the title really fast, and then just hit the little clip at the top of my screen. I can hit Command O and Command 1, and Command O would give me the link. Oops, that also adjusted the command number O. That also just adjusted the whole screen. Sorry, let me zoom back in so you guys can see that. And then Command 1 would put the title here. So I have an alternate source. I need to check Broke Agent Media. Broke Agent Media used to write independent articles about each one of these, and they've gotten away from that a little bit. And they go to write a kind of a summary type article. And they also put Byron's comments from his show, which is fine. That's a fine way to do it. But I don't know. I feel like I wish there was more writing to it rather than like, here's what Byron said on his show. Okay. I don't see a new article about it on the on Broke Agent Media. That's where I am. Okay. Nope. Got a good EXP article we're going to cover. Okay, cool. Back on it. Okay, so the only other source we have on this was going to be this Facebook video. And I think the Facebook video kind of needs its own. Oops, that's the wrong place right there. We'll go with Jared James on Facebook. And then I'm going to make that first. So that, just like what we just did, that's going to set up the whole thing here. I do want to give credit to where credit's due. So I had Andy on this. Andy Rose, I guess I should put his last name. Andy Rose was my source to send me that video and start this whole conversation. I'm also going to put the actual filing because I like dropping that link into the description in case somebody wants to read the full filing, they can. So, all right. Sorry, I gotta remember to keep it towards the top of my screen here. I wish you guys could remind me, but you're not all here. All right, so this is the main two articles. So this is where I start. Somebody sends me stuff. I look at that. That's how I look at it. Now, let's say maybe it's a week where nobody sent me anything, or I've gone through everything that everyone sent me, and now I just need to kind of do my own research. I am going to share my screen again so you can see what I do. I have all of my sources saved in a tab group on Google Chrome. And what this allows me to do, share screen. I'm trying to do this and talk at the same time. It's kind of challenging, actually. What this allows me to do, this tab group, is just to click one button, which right now you can't, it's behind the live. It's over here on the far left. You can barely see my cursor up here. It says tWiRE. I click that and watch what happens across the screen. All the news sources that has just general stuff. These are not the in-depth sources. These are the normal sources. They load across the screen. Super easy, man. Now, we start with CNBC. Manhattan condo values fell over the past decade. Here's why rents are still rising. I don't really hit very specific city information unless there's something crazy happening. Like we talked about the Miami condos, because that was something specific to Miami that was going to impact everything. We talked about the fires in the Palisades. There's some city specific. Austin, we hit a lot because their housing market's crazy right now. And then some of the bigger cities, San Diego, San Francisco. But Manhattan condo market's very specific and not really most of my audience. So that kind of like news article on a niche piece of real estate in a specific area, we just don't really cover. Now, if they said Manhattan condo values plummet after, and then something that recently happened, like let's say this was because of the new mayor Mandami or something, that would be worth noting. That would be worth discussing because people would care about it. But people, I mean, just the ebb and flow of values over the past decade, but rents are still rising. It's not really, I mean, it's not going to hit my audience. Why 1 in 3 Manhattan condos are selling at a loss. So one of the things that CNBC does is they take the same article and they have a full blown article for this, but then they have a video, which is a snippet of their show. So anytime you see Watch Now, they've just taken the segment of the show and put it on their website. The meat is really in this article here. So I really try to stick to the articles and away from the snippets, though I can cover those snippets now. So they do this like with Diana or Olick. Pending home sales rise 1.9% in October. And then it says sellers are taking their homes off the market the fastest pace in nearly a decade. This data point is likely in this article. And the only way I know that is just from experience. It's just from doing this a whole lot. So I'm going to open up this article. I'll hold command and hit that, and it opens up in a new window up here. So you guys can see the tab. I'm not going to worry about opening this up because I'm almost positive it's here or it will be somewhere else. So here's another one with Diana Olick. Existing home sales see small October gain. And then here's the same article. Existing home sales see small October gain. This is the article version. That's November 20th. So we're already at Thursday. This means it was a fairly slow news week. Anytime there's only 1 or 2 articles, it's pretty slow. It does mean CNBC will release another article tomorrow morning talking about the current mortgage application volume, which is likely based on these news articles. It seems like it would be down. So that kind of knowing that also gives me a flavor for things like the, what's it called? Thumbnails, titles, descriptions. Okay, so now let's test our theory just to test it. Oh, you should also be careful. So if you do have any of these open, let's see if I can stop. If you do have any of these tabs open and you click on something in that tab, now it changes your whole tab block. So you do have to pull these things back out. You do have to reset back to your real estate CNBC stuff. So yeah, pending home sales. There's no article information with this. So it's going to be the same thing. I'm just going to go back because I just know it's going to be here. Let's look. Sellers taking their homes off the market. Let's see. Actually, that pending home sales article may have been something we covered last week, but I'm not too worried about it. Oh, there it is. See? Pending home sales in October, which were based on signed contracts, were up 1.9% month to month. See? 1.9%. I'm undefeated. So as long as that piece is here, I know that everything else she said on that video clip is in this article or is pulled from this article, information in this article. So we got it. We have our 2 CNBC sourced articles about the economy. Normally what I do, you see how these are now interrupting my tab group? Normally I just pull these out of the tab group. It's going to mess up my screen share if I do that now, but you just hold the tab and pull it out. And I create another tab group. Well, I could just do that. I can create another tab group with those stories. So now, wrong button. This is what it looks like. Window. So here's the new tab group that I just created. You can see the 2 news articles here. And then I can also put my Zillow stuff in there if we want to. This is basically what I do on the morning of, is I will recreate these tab groups if I don't have them. When I'm going through the news articles on a Tuesday or Monday to kind of prep for the show, I create a tab group just for convenience. But then during the show, I also create a tab group like this, but I share just one of these tabs. So you guys won't ever see the tabs across the top because you go insane. It's super long. But you'll just see the active tab during the show. This is probably more detailed than any of you ever wanted. Okay, so now we're going to go, let me share a different. Now I'm just going to share a tab. Now, you guys know how the screens and stuff work. Now I'm just going to share tabs like I normally do during the show. Because I think it's a little slightly better layout. Okay. I'm not going to need any more videos, so no, we're not sharing audio. And here, we're back on. Okay, so this is Redfin, just bought by Rocket Mortgage. So the logo changed a little bit. That's about all. They did go through a rough patch right after that transition. That, I don't know, it was weird. They just weren't producing the same number of articles. Maybe they're just investigating, like, is the news something that we want to continue to do? Okay, but here it is. So these are the news articles, November 25th. We can go all the way down to the 20th. And the ones on the 19th we talked about. So we talked about this one. All this other stuff is new. The affordability crisis accelerating fastest in rural America. That's interesting. We talk a lot about affordability on the show. You say it 3 times in a row. And Christine Smallhorn shows up. Home prices post biggest gains in 7 months despite slow demand. That's interesting. Luxury home price jump 5.5%. That's one of those kind of at the end that I cover. Delistings jumped 28%. That's interesting. And then West Palm Beach tops. See, this is another one kind of like the Manhattan. It's not a huge story for us. Okay. Now let's go through these. Well, hang on. I'm going to put them over here. So all I'm doing right now is collecting the stories. So I'm collecting the stories. Not all these stories may be added to the show. Not all of them would get full time, because some of them are just a mention towards the end of the show. But it kind of depends on what each of them say and if they're interesting, if they're not interesting. So let me get one more set of articles. Okay, so this one, now we're looking at the industry stuff. So delistings and discounts jump as holiday season approaches. Well, I just said that, and now this would be an alternate. This is an alternate article for the economy. Now I love the ones with audio because I can just hit play here while I'm doing other things and listen to the audio. It's 3 minutes. I usually up this speed to at least 2, and then I'll listen to it while I'm doing other things. I'm not going to do that right now, but this is how we roll. Okay. Share this tab instead. Zillow's listing ban hangs in the balance after a 4-day hearing. That's interesting. New news. And also Zillow. People love to see stuff about Zillow, so we'll pull that one out. The IDX lie agents still believe. 5 common misconceptions. So anytime you see stuff like this, it's more of like opinionated, and I don't really cover any of that at all. It's interesting. If you subscribe to Inman and want to read it, you could read it. I don't normally cover it. Ex-CEO charged with grand theft. Local realtor association left all but broke. If we have time to cover it, that's a good one. But I feel like the Zillow articles are just going to swallow everything else. So, sometimes I'll make a note of a story like that and come back on a slower week. But this week there's a lot of news, so we don't really need a fluff piece in there. Everything you need to know about social media. Again, that's kind of the same with Broke Agent Media. They have like, hey, here's how to improve your business. I never cover those because our show is really just about news. NAR's consumer profile shows agents how to thrive. If this said, NAR's consumer profile shows that buyers aren't buying homes until they're 43 years old now, we would read the article because that's interesting about the economy and also about our business. But the headline just talks about how shows agents how to thrive. This is a coaching piece written on top of NAR's consumer data. So we don't really dive in. I mean, there's definitely an audience for that. We just don't cover it on our show. Our show. Do y'all know why I say our? Let's just take a minute. I took a minute. It took me out of the show. Do y'all know why we say our? Because it's not my show. I've always felt like this is your show too. And I am a curator of articles for the discussion on and offline that's led by you guys. So I've never really felt like this is my show. So someone asked me about that the other day. They're like, why do you always say our show? That's why. It's not my show. It's our show. All right. Let's go back. You know what I forgot to do? We got to do this. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone. There's a Thanksgiving overlay. That adds a lot. Okay. Fannie Mae and Freddie cleared to back loans up to $832,000. Yeah, we'll cover that one. We'll put that one in the economy if we got time to it. Let's see. Yeah, I mean, the other stuff's good. SkyTour uses complex 3D tech to simplify home search. It's more of an ad. The rest of the stuff is just kind of ad. Okay. So y'all remember the tab group that I'm currently building. Let's go back to the tab group. And let's drop our economy stuff, which is going to be delistings. Let's drop that after the delistings in Redfin. They may also be using the same source, by the way. So if they're using the same source, we'll really just pull from one. So what I mean is, if the Inman article is saying a report by Inman says that delistings and discounts are high, we'll probably just focus on the Redfin. I mean, if Inman says a report from Redfin, we'll focus on the Redfin report. That's what I'm trying to say. Poorly. Wow. Okay. And then Zillow's listing hangs in the balance. So this one is in the industry news category. It's also about Zillow. And I guarantee every time there's industry news about Zillow, we will cover it on the show because it gets a lot. Okay, you've also noticed there's only one thing that I dug into deeply so far. We will dig into more. Hang in there. We're collecting. Now we're going to go to Broke Agent Media. This is an interesting article because I give EXP a lot of flack, and I like to find opportunities that companies I give flack, I'll find something to stand with them on. A lot of you noticed that with the Compass. They're like, man, you used to rake Compass over the coals when they were recruit hiring people away from these companies, but now you seem to like them. Well, I agree with what their position is now, but I still also disagree with the practice they held earlier. So there's a lot about EXP I disagree with, but they announced new disclosures for referral fees and consumer choice. Today, EXP announced the implementation of new disclosure standards in a consumer choice form. These new initiatives designed to provide greater transparency around referral fees and ancillary service providers in real estate transactions. And this is not included, but I would totally add it in the show. And to keep our Fannie out of the fire, or our Fannie out of court, that's guarantee. That's why it's in there. Changes will take effect December 1st. This is what we've been talking about on the show. I mean, I fully expect other companies to do this exact same thing. EXP, oops, I clicked on it and then it opened up the standard for consumer policy advocacy. Here it is. The real estate, stop doing that. Oh, apparently this is linked. Interesting. I won't do that during the show, but this is the show and I've already done it. Oops. The real estate landscape is evolving rapidly. We're seeing massive acquisition of search portals by mortgage lenders and aggressive vertical integration. And it's really, is it a vertical integration? It's really horizontal integration. It's horizontal integration if you are merging with sources at the similar place of purchase. So in other words, vertical integration would be following a consumer's journey or a product's journey. Horizontal integration is title, lender, agent, doing everything, and all happens at that one purchasing moment. Vertical integration would be developer, builder, agent, right? Taking the product from it was a forest, now it's a bunch of lots. Now I'm building on the lot. Now I'm selling the house to a buyer. Another vertical integration at that moment would be the builder home warranty provider. You are your provider, right? Maybe you're making money off of an extended warranty somehow. Or maybe you have a landscaping company that's going to go and then do their landscaping for a monthly fee from then on. So that would be vertical integration. I have trouble seeing vertical integration as lender, title, and agent. I think that's horizontal integration. All right, in this environment, silence is not an option. Obviously, I just talked forever about vertical and horizontal integration. Transparency is not. Hey, I've got a friend that would love to hear EXP say silence is not an option about stuff. Other stuff, though. Transparency is good business. Is it? It's the foundation of public trust, regardless of external regulatory debates. EXP is moving first. We're empowering our agents to lead with clarity, ensuring every customer understands their rights and the financials of their transaction. This is how we protect human relationship at the heart of real estate. I mean, bro, that's a lot of Bolshevik to say we want clear disclosures so we don't get sued and the buyer understands what's happening. I mean, I would pay big money to the first CEO that's like, hey, we're doing this disclosure so we don't get sued. That's what disclosures are for. And also, so the buyer knows exactly what's happening. The seller knows exactly what's happening. We believe in transparency, and also we don't want to be sued. I mean, your stock would go through the roof. All right. Clients have the right to choose their own new service providers. So it's basically saying, hey, we may have a mortgage company or a title company, but you choose. I mean, Real's had that forever. They're not required to use providers recommended their agent or broker. Yeah, okay. This includes services such as mortgage lenders, title companies, escrow services, and inspectors. Again, all horizontal integration. The goal is to clearly state that consumers have choice at every stage of the home buying process. Yeah, it's an explicit disclosure so they don't get sued. We do not have to spend this much time on this. Why is this happening now? We understand why. Okay. Yeah, that's an article we use. I just yawned. That's an article we use. This is in the industry T part of the show. I'll show you why that's important later. Okay, and that brings us to the NAR website. So NAR used to have a magazine, and they would print the magazine every month and send it around. And then it came every 2 months, or maybe it was always every 2 months. Anyway, I liked the magazine. I liked the paper, but it's no longer in paper. Now their news articles are right on nar.realtor/magazine. So, smart thermostat. There's not much. There's not much news here, unfortunately. It really did. It used to be pretty good. There's the final print edition. I actually kept mine. There's no good news here. So I'll click real estate news. So this is supposedly the news portion, but November 16th is the featured article. More home buyers go under contract with Midwest leading the way. There's always a different spin that they put on everything. It's always like a good news spin. And that does get a little tiresome. You'll see all the other news articles be like, oh, things are not too good right now. And the Realtor page is like, things are great, and here's why. I mean, I understand it, but it's just, you do that enough and people are like, I mean, why should we believe you? Nothing's ever bad in housing. Anyway, smart thermostats could simplify comfort. Housing leaders drive for business. Man, yeah. There's nothing else on here that's even remotely close to news. More home buyers go under contract. National Association of Realtors pending home sales index, a forward-looking indicator. Oh, this is the thing that we talked about, October, 1.9%. So we've already got a mention of this without all the fluff. So I'm not going to use this because CNBC said it without the fluff. All right, so let's go to realtor.com/news. This is the one section of this page that I look at. It's here and sometimes here, like it says Trump may name a new Fed chair. If we had time, let's say Zillow didn't have anything going on this week, that would be fun to talk about. But because Zillow has so much going on, it's worth it putting it in a different show if we ever talk about it. But this other portion, right under Danielle Hale's photo, she'll have her latest market update or market report, pending home sales pickup. If I haven't covered that in another article, I would click on it. But because we're already covering it, we're going to move on. Now we're at foxnews.com/category/real-estate. They have some interesting stories here every now and then, but most of the time we don't cover a lot of it. They have a couple of reports. This real estate lady's on here a lot when they're talking about, she's just a real estate agent talking about stuff. And it's always like a couple of days after something interesting in housing happens. So, but every now and then they have a really good article on there. So always check. We also always check NAHB. They have the Fannie and Freddie. That's the big news to them. So I could use that as another source if I didn't want to use the Inman source again, just to have a different source out there. I'll at least have it as an alternate source mentioned. Young adults are once again moving back home. That would be a fun thing to talk about. And a bill would repeal Binera OSHA heat standard. How would the Fed cut rates impact housing? Okay, so the Biden thing is something we might cover if Zillow is having like a no news day, but because there's so much in the news, we're just not gonna cover them. Okay, so now what I would do if you guys weren't with me, I'm going to share my tab group, and now the real research begins. And let's see, I believe this is the tab group. Young adults. Yeah, okay. So we start with Zillow Flex. We have the Facebook link that I already put in there. Now we have Zillow's listing ban hangs and the balance after a 4-day hearing. Interesting. So Zillow and Compass went head to head last week in a 4-day evidentiary hearing. So an evidentiary hearing really just talks about what evidence can come in and what can't come in. The hearing will determine whether Zillow's ban has caused Compass's irreparable harm. It was just an evidentiary hearing, though. I don't think that's the whole thing. If so, whether it should be paused while the lawsuit works its way through the courts. Oh, okay, so there's a hearing that will determine whether Zillow's ban has caused Compass irreparable harm, and if so, whether it should be paused. So they're asking for basically a preliminary injunction. I believe that's what it's called. Just saying, hey, they've banned us. We want you to step in and unban us until somebody can decide what happens. So they're doing that as part of the evidentiary hearing, is what the article says. Eminem obtained more than 800 pages of court transcripts. Woo! Day one, sticks and carrots. Compass and Zillow's attorneys spent the first day of the hearing laying the groundwork for the respective arguments over Zillow's listing access standard. Zillow's team defended the ban in its opening statement, saying it's in the interest of the market's transparency. I really want to know if they use my argument. I mean, that's what I'm... They pointed to, meanwhile, Compass's representation framed on the ban on the attack on seller choice, pointing to exhibits that reveal Zillow's particular concern about the brokerage's 3-phase marketing strategy. Refkin said it's not called the 1-phase marketing strategy. It's called the private exclusive strategy. It's the 3-phase. Noting 94% of private exclusives reach full MLS distribution. The list of strategies was categorized into sticks and carrots, with the sticks including a listing ban and a product ban at the brokerage level. The carrots included offering better leads, throttling listings from friendly brokerages to the top of the search results, and other preferred treatment. The exhibit said the sticks and carrots could be used to isolate Compass and other bad actors. Huh. Okay. Day 2, creating a win-win with Compass. The second day of hearings included testimony from Samuelson, Waxman, and Hoffman. Questions about Zillow business model, whether private listing networks harm home buyers and home sellers, of which Samuelson said the portal still displays tens of thousands of brokerages. The thing I still am curious about, how can you say that we want buyers to have access to everything, so we're going to punish you and remove your listings? It just doesn't make sense. Okay. So this is not real incendiary stuff. This is a play-by-play of the court transcript. There's nothing really pulled out of here as like bombshell yet, or people would just be talking about that one part. The fact that they're going through this it means it's pretty non sequitur. It's all the stuff we've talked about before, but now it's argued in court. So they're big and bad and they're coming after us. And while the other guy says they're big and bad and they're withholding inventory. So it's literally everything that we've already talked about. No new news, but now it's in front of the court. So then we have, oh wait, oh man. Hopefully, wait, hang on. Was I displaying the right thing? Okay, good. I was. All right, then we have EXP's article, which we already talked about. Leo changing and becoming more transparent. And then we get to, so that's the industry T part. Now we have the market, what's going on in the market. So the market data has been really interesting lately because I don't feel like it's doing what it's supposed to. But this is cool. Sellers are taking their homes off the market the fastest pace in nearly half decade. So it used to, there was so much supply yesterday, and what's happening? Roughly 15% of the homes that were delisted in September were at the risk of selling at a loss. Redfin found that 70% of homes listed in September were on the market 60 days or longer. The supply of homes for sale is about 15% higher now than it was a year ago. There you go. That's the bullet points. Buyer demand is weakening. Home prices and overall uncertainty in the economy are combining to make home sellers change their minds and step out of the market. That's it. They need to sell it. So what we have here are home sellers that need to sell their home at tip-top market prices so they can afford the loan on the new place. That's basically what you have. So homeowners are seeing prices weaken significantly. We would rather wait and accept a lower offer. Prices in September were 1.3% higher year over year, down from 1.4% rise in August. Sellers were delisting because so many listings are going stale, sitting on the market longer and longer. Redfin reported that 70% of listings in September were on the market for 60 days or longer. The frequency of delisting is keeping inventory tighter than what it looks like on paper, Assad Khan said, senior economist at Redfin. When tens of thousands of homeowners pull their home off the market rather than accept a low offer, it effectively reduces the supply of homes that are actually available for buyers. That keeps prices elevated. It's just a circle, man. Some sellers are lowering prices even multiple times. Typical price cut is roughly $10,000, but multiple price reductions are becoming more common as homes take longer to sell, according to Zillow. The housing market is now heading into its slowest season, while 1 in 5 homes that are delisted and relisted are relisted. That may not happen for several months, as sellers will likely wait. So if you're a seller, should you put your home on the market now? If all the other inventory is coming off the shelves and there's going to be fewer homes competing with you, when should you list? And then pending home sales in October, which are based on signed contracts, were up 1.9% month to month, basically flat from a year ago, according to Realtors. The monthly bump may have been due to a small drop in mortgage rates. All right, that's the main article that is also backed up with this article from Inman. There it is. Delistings up 28%. I like the charts. I usually show people charts. Home delistings at highest level since September 2017. I'm kind of surprised. Look at that delisting that we had, that increase of 20,000 properties roughly in 2022. I guess we started so low. In 2021, only 45,000 or so homes were delisted. In 2022, 64,000 homes were delisted. So it was a huge jump, but nothing compared to 2016. 89,000 homes were delisted. Huh. Oh, wait. Tricky chart. September's only. Oh, so if you look at March, yeah. Look at March. That's an interesting way to look at the data though, because if you are looking at September's only, you do skip the anomaly of March. All right. Delistings have been increasing for a year and a half. Yeah, there's a jump. All right, so the rest of this stuff is basic data and then how they collected the data. Oh no, there's another chart. Sellers are pulling off their homes off the market at the highest rate since 2016. The uptick in delistings is propping up home prices. Yeah, and then that's everything that we've already talked about, roughly. And then we have this third article about it. So, I mean, what I'll do, this article references Zillow Senior Economist, which the first article talked about Zillow's economist. So their quotes are already in there. So I'll probably just list this Inman article as a source, but I don't really see anything new in it. 70% of home delistings on the market. 70%. Sorry. More stale listings with 70% of U.S. home listings on the market for at least 60 days without going under contract. So yeah, nothing new in this article. I'll just list it as a source. Existing home sales see small October gain, but supply is now dropping. Okay. We just talked about that too. It's kind of in the same vein. Housing affordability crisis accelerating fast in rural America. So this was an interesting one that I picked out because we talk about the cities and what's happening in the cities a lot, but rural areas see the fastest erosion in housing affordability. Huh. You have urban in blue, suburban in red, and rural in yellow. And sure enough, the change in income required to afford a median home, 105.8%. Wow. Is that because, So I always like to look at these articles and think about the various factors. A lot of people that live in rural counties, like, what do you think the percentage of retirees are in rural counties or people that are just living on Social Security versus the city? People that are living in the city, what percentage of, it's probably a lot more people. I mean, there's probably more people that live in the city that are retirees, but it's a lot lower percentage. And what's the average stay of a home in the city versus the country too? Because if you've lived in a house for 10 years, your income doesn't need to go up to continue to afford that home. I think there's a lot more factors here than just the fastest erosion of housing affordability. You could also have more new construction happening in those areas because it's USDA, rural development loans, USDA. It's rural development loans, you know what I'm saying, RD. And you get zero down. So it could be because of some of those new developments in those areas as well. All right, the U.S. luxury home prices jumped 5.5% in October. It's tripled the pace of non-luxury homes. Not going to spend too much time on this one either. I do like to show the luxury versus non-luxury, 1.8% versus 5.5%. And then I love it when they show when it was up at 25% in June of 2021. So it's come down a lot. But luxury home prices are consistently outpacing non-luxury, which that is not, I mean, it kind of ebbs and flows as far as what's up, what's down. So it looks like we're in for a long down ride if history has anything to say about cyclical. All right, and home prices post biggest gain in 7 months despite slow demand. I guess that's because everybody's pulling their home off the market. This might be an article that I move to talk about. No, I guess it's okay in this space. I might put it in front of the luxury article. You guys saw that at the top of the screen here, how I changed those tabs. I have housing affordability article now, and then housing home prices see biggest gain, and then luxury home. Actually, it needs to go before rule. Okay, that's good. So October, I have an article that says October existing home sales. We go to home prices. We go to housing affordability. We go to luxury. Then we go to Fannie and Freddie raising all the way back to 832,750. Yeah. They have 2 articles on that. And then young adults are once again moving back home. It's ultimate solution. So New Jersey is 44%, Connecticut 41%, California 39%, Maryland 38%. On the other hand, states with the lowest share of adults living with parents are North Dakota, South Dakota, Washington, D.C. Huh. Okay, so that's the articles. I'm now going to take... Oh, you thought it was over? It's not. I'm going to show you exactly what we do now with this information. I'm going to add the rundown. We already have our 2 Zillows. All right, so you guys can watch across the top. I'm going to show you exactly how I get the rundown. It's important to have the rundown, even though we just went through all these and technically we already had the show. I'll show you real fast what I do with it now. Because I have to have the rundown for my assistant, who then will take all the timestamps from the show. And this is going to be a mess for her. So sorry in advance. But she'll take all the timestamps and she'll timestamp the articles that we covered and when we covered them. And this one's going to be tricky, but this is how it normally happens. So we have the Zillow Flex. That one's already on there. We have the actual complaint that's already in there. Then we have Zillow's listing. So we'll copy that, come over here, boom, put that there. So fast. All right, so we have 3 Zillow things right off the jump. That always gets people talking. If this was going to be an actual show, I'll delete that one. We have EXP right after that. EXP is also another company that people love to talk about. It's you get a lot of clicks, a lot of links, a lot of people talking. Even though I thought it was a big nothing burger, to them it was something. All right, and then more sellers are taking their home off the market. So now we jump down into the industry headlines down here. Now I'm always going to leave a couple of these blank in case something drops tomorrow and I need to add it right before the show. I've got space to do it without moving everything. All right, and then we have all of our delisting. It's all the same. So I'm just going to add them as additional sources on this line. Let's play a different song. We'll slow it down a little bit. Okay, boom. We have that one. We have Inman. October home sales. Existing home sales. So this article is very similar to the delisting stuff. So I know I'm not going to really sit on it for long. But everything is kind of talking about the same thing. And that's indicative of 2 situations. One is it's Thanksgiving this week. Happy Thanksgiving. And a lot of news, they just don't drop news on holiday weeks very often. The other thing it's indicative of is that is a huge story right now for the economy. So people don't really know what else to talk about. You have people that are trying to afford a home, and now people are taking their home off the market because it's not selling at the price they wanted it to sell. Yeah, people don't like that. Okay. Now you see what's happening with the tabs across the top? How they're less and less and less and less. Every time I take a tab and do with it what I need to, I just exit off. Because we've already done the research. We've already read the articles. That's the research that we've done. Let's say what it is. We've already read the articles. Okay. So we've done, quote unquote, done our research. But I mean, if you do this long enough, I know, I know all this stuff. So, like who am I going to go research my opinion on disclaimers about additional services for horizontal integration? I could write the dissertation, baby. Oh, this is another article that says the same. So we just copy the alternate. And then the young adults moving home. And we have it all. There's the rundown. Now we're not done yet. I know you thought, man, Ray, that's a lot that you've done. Nope, not done. All right. After this, I copy it all. I don't need the Jared on Facebook. So let's just do without that. So I copy all the articles and sources. Guess what we open up next? I have a highly trained bot over on ChatGPT that for a long time, I wouldn't say years, I kind of started putting them into this project notebook for what, months ago. But it's programmed to help me write a YouTube description, including the articles, and it also does a little bit of research. So I'm just going to say, give me a great YouTube description for a live show that would cover these articles. Now you could probably say this only and get away with it, but in my project instructions, there's several specific bits of information, like what the podcast is and the type of description I need. Now for this, I do need to add one more thing. This is put episode 342 at the top. This is this looks like a regular show, but in reality, I am showing everyone behind scenes, SEEENES, behind the scenes of how the show is made while I am making the new show, including, I should just say this, including right now and the work you are doing. Okay. So then here's the, now you notice I did not, this is jumbled, right? It's there. This looks terrible. It's just basically for the audio listeners. It's the title, Zillow Flex class action complaint now includes RICO allegations. And right after that title is the URL for the article. This URL gives Facebook enough information, not Facebook. This URL gives ChatGPT enough information to find everything that I needed to find. So I don't have to do anything else here. This document, it can go read the full complaint. Okay. Now I'm going to close some of the space in between the industry and the market. And then we'll say go. All right, let's see what it comes up with. I'm kind of interested to see if it comes up with something special because you guys are watching. So while that's thinking, I also need to think through a really good thumbnail for today's show. And the one that I kind of came up with as a fun option would be like, I think I may have used this before, but I liked it. A stack of TVs showing the news and everything, and then curtains, like somebody's about to pull back the curtain on the stack of TVs and the sources of news and everything like that I go through. I think that would be interesting. So while it's writing that, maybe, you know what, maybe on that stack of televisions, I could have Zillow logos on a couple of them. letting people know that that's kind of a big topic of today's show. And then a couple of them should show court proceedings. I don't know. Are people going to get that detail? Probably not. But I could at least put a couple of Zillow. I'll put a couple of Zillow logos on it. I don't think I can use 2 GPTs at once. I'm going to have to wait. I have a, well, while we're waiting on that, because it's just thinking and doing everything. Oh, it's at the last article. Here it is. Boom. Looks like a normal tWiRE episode, but it's not tonight. I should change that to today. You're watching the show get built in real time while we are live. From headline section to breakdown. That's pretty good. That's not bad. Here's what we're covering while it's built in front of you. Yeah, I like that. It's got the articles, a little summary of each article. This is actually more robust than it normally does. It is not normally this much. You can't join live, so I have to take that off. Normally it says like join live and talks to the replay viewers too. But this is chock full of SEO. So if somebody searches, Zillow RICO under fire, Zillow under RICO fire, or if somebody says Zillow Flex class action lawsuit RICO, then hopefully this will come up. Let's see. I'm not going to clarify because I could just do it faster whenever I write it. So what the changes I'm going to make here are real fast. Instead of tonight, today. And then I'll probably make it punchier on this looks like a normal tWiRE episode, but it's not. So we'll probably say like, welcome behind the scenes to today's tWiRE, something like that. It'll just be a little punchier. Okay. Other than that, I like it. I like where its head's at. So I copied it. I'm going to paste that later into the YouTube description. So I just have it on my clipboard. Meanwhile, let's go to the Mid-Journey. So I have a little conversation I've kept with ChatGPT that does Mid-Journey prompting for me. That's what I use for the image generator, which I'm going to show you on Mid-Journey how I do that part as well. So I want, give me a description. Man, I cannot spell. C-R-I-P-T-I-O-N. Give me a description for Mid-Journey. J-O-U-R-E. That would generate a stack of televisions. Oh, maybe it can also do the curtain for me, so I don't have to do that. A stack of televisions on a stage. Yeah. Stack of televisions on a stage or in a room partially covered up with a curtain. On those TVs should be realistic newscasts about real estate, and a few of them should have the Zillow logo. We should specify that like 2 of them, and 2 of them should have the Zillow logo. All of the others should be real estate news or fire and Armageddon on the newscast. I mean, that's kind of my favorite things. Newscasts. I cannot spell Armageddon. There it is. Okay. Let's see what it comes up with. That's a little bit wild. I don't know. You just got to massage it. Clarifying prompt guidelines and ethical boundaries. Great. All right. High resolution realistic image of a dramatic stage room with a tall stack of various flat screen televisions arranged on a platform, partially draped with a heavy velvet curtain. Some screens peek out from behind the curtain. Others sit exposed, tilted at different angles. Each TV displays. Okay. Yep. Okay. Urgent market news. All right. Let's see what we have. So now I just copy this prompt and I'm going to take you over to my mid journey. No judgment on stuff that I've generated in the past, right? Let's just, it's all kind of in the same boat here. Where's my mid journeys window? There it is. Nope. There it is. Sorry. Okay. So here's mid journey. Oh man. I'm gonna have to change the layout a little bit so you can see. Well, you can kind of see. So this is mid journey. I've created my own little mid journey server. Super easy to do. And on that server, let me see if I could mess with the layout a little bit so you could see it easier. No, it's just going to be that way. I'll tell you what I'm doing. So on that Midjourney server, oh, that is working. I'm making it bigger. Yay. Okay, cool. I'm going to go down to this message. I'm going to do /imagine. And then I'm going to paste that prompt and then hit go. And that's really it. Once you set up Midjourney and once you set up your Discord, that's really all you have to do. ChatGPT is well versed in Midjourney and knows exactly what to give you so that you can get the output you want. This prompt I have in Midjourney right now is one that I've used, or I have in ChatGPT is one that I've used a lot. I've taught it what I'm looking for a lot. And it tends to do a pretty good job. We'll see if it hit it today. I can see the stacks of televisions being generated. Those are not far off. There's no curtain. Ah, there is a curtain. It's just kind of weak color. The color is weak on it. Maybe it'll get stronger as it finishes generating. It's only 65% generated right now. 71. It's a very dramatic song. All right, we are at 89. It takes a minute. 95. All right. Photos. Man. I don't love any of them, but that one's probably the closest. There's really, you can't read any of the writing on the news. That's probably on purpose with their ethical guidelines. I feel like this one with it looks more like behind the scenes-y. I just wish you could tell what was on them. Well, by the time I put some text and stuff in the front, you really won't be able to tell anyway. Why we all in? Why is it doing that? We all in across the screen of several of the and Birboyt, Birboyt, Boyt, and Zillow. Oh, that's Zillow. It tried to fit Zillow and it says Zillow, Zilo. That's funny. I don't love any of them. But I feel like this one at the top right looks more behind the scenes because of the stage equipment. Oh, aha. Check this out. All right, so let's go back to Midjourney. My Midjourney prompts, I'm going to say, this is on ChatGPT. These are good. Give me more stage equipment so it feels like a peek behind the scenes. Okay, what I'm gonna do, I know you guys can't see that part. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take that prompt and drop it in Midjourney and see what the next set we get is. All right. Oh, wow. Actually, I'm going to share this because I've never seen this on ChatGPT. It says, look at this little thing. See that? It says, research more, peek behind the scenes stage equipment, spend a few minutes for better results. What is this? I click it. Use shopping research. So you could shop through ChatGPT, but now you can use shopping research. So it's shopping behind the scenes. While it does that, I don't know if it's going to give me a better list of equipment than what it has here, because I'm looking at this equipment. It looks pretty right on. It's got like C-stands and gaffer tape, and yeah, I don't like that feature. That's not. It's been a few minutes researching. Have ChatGPT dig deeper to find products that fit your needs. No. That's not what I want. Can I just thumbs down that? I can't. Okay. All right. No, we got what we need here. So now we're going to go back to Midjourney. And there we are. Share that. Oh yeah, I got to change my layout so you guys can see it better. It's not great, but get it. You get it. We get it. You get it. Okay. I'm going to now do the same thing. I'm just going to type /imagine. And I'm going to put ChatGPT. Oh, wait, was that the first? No. This is more. Yeah, this is better. So we'll see what the next one looks like. Now you notice I didn't talk to Midjourney like I talked to ChatGPT. It's not that kind of AI. It basically just takes a command and then gives you an output. It is not an AI that will, it's not a conversational AI. It is a natural language model. You just tell it stuff, but it's not conversational. I could kind of see the ones coming in. I think one of the ones we got is going to be probably better. It didn't add enough like behind the scenes feel for me. It just looks like an empty store. All right, so 75% done. 79, even though I don't think I'm going to use it, I still want to look. Sometimes you'll get to this moment in Midjourney where you're like, no, none of these are going to be good. And then it does that last little develop, and it's like, whoa, actually, this one. Which it may have just done that. That's pretty slick down here on the, I like this color palette on the bottom right. This looks very behind the scenes-y. And we're seeing a lot of TVs, which is kind of what I'm looking for. Yeah, I think I'm going to go bottom right. Yep. So let's go with that. All right, so now I'm going to hit U4, which means I want it to upscale that. I'm going to upscale it again to get an even better quality. And then I'll take it over to Canva and show you what I do next. Well, let's go ahead and prep Canva while we wait. Because Canva is ready. Canva is ridiculous, man. Share screen, window, Canva. Add. Let's go back down here. All right. So the first thing I do is I copy the last week's rendition. I start to remove the stuff I don't want to use. I don't want to use myself again in this pose. So I'm going to remove that. This has a layer over it. This has a couple of different layers over it. So I'm not going to use any of those layers. I'm probably not going to use red behind this text. So let's just soften that by putting some black there. I'm not going to use the Zillow logo. This was last week. Houses are losing value, says Zillow. And you can see the Midjourney image I used there. Okay. We are going to copy now our very behind the scenes-y feel. Oh yeah, that looks great. Copy image. And we're going to paste into there. Look at that. Isn't that scary how fast that is? That's all fast. So now all I need to find is a picture of me, and then I need to figure out the words to put here to hopefully get people to click on stuff. I also always will change the way it's tilted just because I can't stand to have a bunch of thumbnails with everything tilted the exact same. That drives me wild. So I'm thinking we should do something about behind the scenes of the housing crash, BTS of a housing crash. Just do people know what I'm saying? This like you guys could talk back. I miss you. I miss you all. I'm saying this like y'all could talk back to me. BTS, the housing crash. Now you might be thinking, Ray, why are you talking about a housing crash? You barely hit on that stuff. Well, we talked a little bit about it. But housing crash gets lots of clicks. The other thing that gets lots of clicks is Zillow sued. I guess we could do that one. Zillow sued by everyone. Zillow sued. Let's do all lowercase there. Everyone? Question mark. That's kind of interesting. Zillow sued by everyone. And is there a graphic or image that means behind the scenes? Let's see. See if there's a good photo graphic or something. I like the little behind the scenes word. What is that called? What is this word board called? This thing. Let's see if I can just take that. Let's do a background remover. That's pretty close. Not bad for, I mean, that's very fast. Isn't that crazy fast, guys? That kind of connotes what we're looking for, but the scene also connotes it. Just a little hint of behind the scenes. I kind of like it. Yeah, I'm going to make it a little brighter. I like that better. If I take out some of the contrast, it becomes more gray. But this is it kind of needs to be redder to match the redness. So I'm going to increase my temperature. Yeah, that's, I think, a better match. Let's increase the purples a little bit in it. Now we're going to look at the blue, and I'm going to take down the blue. Yeah. Now our chair matches. That's more of a color match. It's still not perfect, but finished is better than perfect. You know? I can look at some of the other behind the scenes. Yeah, I just don't think the others will hit it. Just double checking, because I'm obsessive compulsive. I do this every single week where I double check it all. I try 3 or 4 things and I go back to what I did originally. Yeah, let's leave it. Let's leave it. Now, I think maybe a different font here is going to be better. Didn't I just say finished is better than perfect? I can't help it. I like this font. We'll change it up. All right. Zillow sued by everyone. And I'm going to make the spacing a little closer. I can't get everyone any closer than that without this one messing up. Why? Can I just adjust? No. Okay. So we're going to look at the effects. We'll go. Do we want to go white with an effect outline of black? Yeah, they kind of contrast with behind the scenes, which is black on white. I kind of like that. We'll go with that. All right, I need to add a picture of me in this one. So I'm going to go find a picture of me that I haven't used in a long time. That's a good one. Let's look at the one where I'm looking. I'm leaning. That would be kind of funny. This is like the only reason why I keep all these, because I already have all these edited faces. That's pretty good. When was the last time you used that one? That's been a while. Nope. Is that the same one? Yep. But that was 18 shows ago. That was a long time ago. Oh, I built this for a friend. I can delete that now. Sorry, Britt. Bye. Yeah. Let's do that. Boom. Don't love it, but I don't know. What do y'all think? It's pretty cool how fast you can do thumbnails these days. I mean, that's definitely sticking out. Zillow sued by everyone. Does it have the pop that I need it to have? You know what does create a little separation? If I click on this background, go over to edit, go to blur, whole photo, and just add like 7 points blur. That creates a little more separation in the back of the scene, which is not supposed to be fully in focus, in the foreground. It's definitely supposed to be more in focus. Oops. You can hold command. If you have I have a grid in the background that'll automatically fill images. So you can hold command and unfill that, by the way. I do want to see that TV there. Yeah, let's do that. Zillow sued by everyone behind the scenes. And then I'm like looking behind the scenes. I need to soften my skin tone. It's very like, whoa. Take down the clarity a little bit. Give me a little Barbara Walters. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, that's better. Okay. It's good. It all kind of now that I'm looking at it, it all kind of matches my skin tone, but we're going to go with it. We're done. So this is our thumbnail for the show. And this video is going to have to process for me to upload it, but you guys saw the description for the show, which I'm actually going to ask it for a slightly shorter description. I think there is a limit. So I'm going to get a slightly shorter description on it. But it'll be like the same type thing. If I was doing like a regular show, I would do all of this on Monday or Tuesday. Sometimes there's more articles added on Tuesday and Wednesday. So when I can, I do this Tuesday late afternoon. And I especially have that. I should just put myself up here talking and take myself back off the screen. I especially have that tab group, that window of tabs, and I'll send that to myself or send that to my phone. And then whenever I get an extra moment, I'm just reading those articles. I'm looking at the sources, whatever sources it's citing. I'm looking at the court docs, if there's court docs, reading through that stuff. A lot of times I'll reach out to the contributors and see what they think. If it's something, especially if it's something that's not getting a lot of attention, but I feel like it should, I'll ask them like, hey, is this not a big deal to y'all? And see what they say. Oh, somebody just sent something at 1:27 a.m. Price correction worse than 2008 coming to the housing market. That's just going to be, there's a tease for next week, guys. That is a great article for next week and a good tease right from a contributor at 1:27. It's hilarious. All right, I think I've covered it all. Besides all the additional research that's done after selecting the articles and going through that stuff, maybe the one thing I haven't shown you is the actual setup from StreamYard. And this is going to be nuts. We're going to go for it. Let's try it. Chrome tab, StreamYard. Where is it? Does it not let me do? Oh, I have to do a window, StreamYard. This is what this looks like. Let's wait until it loads. Oh, oh yeah. Okay, so for the sake of this part of it, should I put like a black screen on? No, because it's still going to be Inception. I don't know. Anyway, over here on the right, this is where I'm playing the music in the background. So it's on, you can see how low it is. It's on 14 right now. During the show where there's commenters and people calling in through Clubhouse and all that, I usually have this on like 10 or 12. And I only recently started doing this, but I like it. I like having something in the background. It's like, it's just kind of going and kind of keeping things moving. It's kind of fun. I will also use this if we have a backstory.
A bit of a backstory. The clear cooperation policy. A noble name for a not so clear tale.
There you go. Some of y'all might remember that. They have all these other things you can do too, but I'm not too interested in it. There's the, oh yeah, look at that. Thanksgiving Inception. There's just a turkey badge. You can add a turkey badge. So let's do that one. Okay. It's got your logo and stuff like that. You can add up here too. Comments. This is where you guys, I normally see your comment. I can select it and display your comment on the show. Oh, sorry, yawned. Banners. You can add banners. This is an example of a banner. But this is StreamYard. This is the hub where I run the show from. And here are the different layouts that I have, but I have these layouts and scenes on the left already. So I can switch like that. If I want to show a bigger screen here, I actually like this one slightly better. I'm hoping, I sent them a lot of layouts of what this should look like with the new vertical thing they have. And I said, basically, if it's like this on the main screen, it should look like this vertically, automatically. Because right now the vertical output is kind of miserable. I mean, it's cool. I love the effort, but it's not what I wanted. And then this is the main big screen that takes away the sharing that I just clicked on. And then see, it messes up when I change just that. Anyway. So yeah, this is StreamYard. This is what it looks like. Up here at the top, it says record only. If I was broadcasting live, it would have every single place that I was broadcasting live up here in the top right. So it's got like YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, Kick, Instagram, all that stuff up here. And then if there's a problem with one of them, there'll be a red exclamation point and it'll just like mess up. So there you go. That's StreamYard. Once everything's put together, I click go live here. And then that's it. It's not difficult every week to do the show, but it's not nothing. You know, there's more to it than I think most people think there is. There's a lot more to the show than most people think there is. You know, I'm not just like reading articles at random. Today was somewhat blind, even though I'd seen some of these articles, because if I'm going to talk about them, I'm going to know what they are. So even though I'm like, oh, look, there's a Zillow thing. I knew about the Zillow thing. But some of the lesser articles, you know, I didn't know about. But most of the time during the show, I know about all the articles. Occasionally during the show, somebody will send me something breaking. That gets challenging. We have breaking news with Jerome Powell. That's challenging. But it's doable in part because of the community that's here too. And I think a lot of this actually would not be doable if it wasn't for you guys on Clubhouse and you guys, you know, on YouTube, dropping the comments. I know a lot of the podcast listeners I don't hear from until much later. But, you know, I love it when you come up to me and let me know you listen. That's really, I mean, it puts wind beneath my wings for sure. But you can always come and comment on the YouTube channel. I would say go to there to comment and, you know, add something to the show if you wanted to. But feel free to message me anytime. I am Ray Zorback on Instagram. That's RAYZORBACK. Thank you guys for listening to a 1 hour and 46. But hey, it was behind the scenes of prepping the show. So we had a little bit of show prep. We had the actual show. Hopefully y'all enjoyed this. I'm doing it for you. And happy Thanksgiving. Thank you guys so much for listening, for commenting, for participating every week. It really is a labor of love for me. And I love you. Thanks for being here. All right. Bye, everybody. I'll see y'all next week at a regularly scheduled time and place live so you guys can come in. Bye, everybody.